When Kai was first announced, it actually sounded promising. The idea was simple but strong. Bring high-end designer style to everyday people at a more accessible price. Kylie talked about collaborating with designers she admired, creating limited drops, and giving fans something that felt exclusive but still attainable. At the beginning, it seemed like the brand was following that vision. There was curiosity, some excitement, and people were willing to see where it would go. But slowly, things began to shift. The pricing started creeping up, moving further away from that accessible promise. Collections became inconsistent, jumping from one aesthetic to another without any clear direction. One drop might feature bold outerwear, while the next focused on basic pieces, and nothing really tied it all together. Then came the criticism. People started pointing out similarities between Kai designs and smaller independent creators, raising questions that Kylie didn't address. Instead of building trust, the brand began losing it. And as the gap between what was promised and what was delivered kept growing, the excitement that once surrounded Kai started fading into skepticism. What was meant to feel curated and intentional now felt scattered, and people couldn't help but wonder what happened behind the scenes. Kylie Jenner keeps launching brand after brand, and at first, people gave her the benefit of the doubt. After all, she built a billion-dollar beauty empire once, so it felt like she could do it again. But as time goes on, a pattern starts to form, and it's getting harder to ignore. Every new project arrives with hype, polished visuals, and big promises, yet somehow none of them seem to last. Instead of building something recognizable, everything feels temporary, like it's designed to grab attention quickly and then move on. Viewers start noticing that there's no clear identity tying her brands together. One minute it's swimwear, the next it's skincare, then clothing, then drinks. And while each launch looks good on the surface, there's this underlying feeling that something is missing. That consistency, that sense of purpose, just isn't there. And as more ventures start to fade or get reworked, people begin asking a bigger question. Was the original success just lightning in a bottle? Or is this constant cycle of launching and rebranding proof that something deeper isn't clicking anymore? And that question sets the tone for everything that follows. When the prices were finally revealed, everything shifted instantly. What might have been mild skepticism turned into full-blown backlash. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. Basic items, things that looked simple and familiar, were priced at levels that felt completely out of reach for the average buyer. A tank top costing more than an entire outfit from a regular store, jeans pushing into designer-level pricing, and accessories that seemed wildly overpriced for what they were. The internet responded quickly, and not in a positive way. Comments flooded in, comparing the pieces to cheaper alternatives, questioning the quality, and calling the entire launch out of touch with reality. What made it worse was the timing. With so many people already struggling financially, the pricing felt disconnected from the audience Kylie built her brand on. Instead of feeling aspirational, it felt unrealistic. And as more people joined the conversation, the tone became louder, sharper, and harder to ignore. This wasn't just criticism anymore, it was frustration. And once that kind of reaction takes hold, it's incredibly difficult to turn things around. But just as the backlash peaked, another issue started gaining attention, and it would raise even more questions about the brand. Just when it seemed like Kai was losing momentum completely, Kylie made a dramatic move that caught everyone's attention. The brand's social media was wiped clean overnight. Every post, every collection, every trace of the past, gone. In its place came a new message, a fresh identity centered around a "born in LA" concept, promising something more personal and refined. On the surface, it looked like a strategic reset, a chance to start over and finally get things right. But as previews of the new collection started appearing, the reaction wasn't what you'd expect. Instead of excitement, there was hesitation. The messaging felt more premium than ever, emphasizing handcrafted details and local production, which immediately signaled higher prices, and people picked up on that fast. Even before the official launch, the comment sections filled with doubt. Viewers questioned whether this was truly a new direction or just another attempt to repackage the same issues. The aesthetic didn't feel groundbreaking, the pieces didn't stand out, and the overall vibe didn't match the level of hype being pushed. What was meant to feel like a comeback started to look more like a risk. And as anticipation built, so did the tension around what was coming next.
As people dug deeper into the launch, they started noticing something strange about the sizing. On paper, Kai appeared inclusive, offering extended sizes up to 4X, which initially earned praise. But in reality, those sizes seemed to disappear almost instantly. Across multiple products, the pattern was the same. Standard sizes were available, while plus sizes were marked as sold out right away. At first, it looked like high demand, but the consistency of it raised suspicion. Customers began questioning whether those sizes were ever fully stocked to begin with. Some even shared personal experiences, explaining how they had provided their measurements ahead of time, only to receive items that didn't match their size at all. That's when the narrative started shifting. What once looked like inclusivity began to feel performative, as if the brand wanted the credit without fully committing to it. And in today's market, where authenticity matters more than ever, that perception can do serious damage. People aren't just buying products, they're buying into values. And when those values feel misleading, trust starts to break down quickly. This wasn't just about clothing anymore. It became a conversation about honesty, representation, and whether the brand was truly serving all of its audience.
At this point, it's no longer just about one brand struggling or one launch missing the mark. It's about a pattern that keeps repeating itself in slightly different ways. The constant shifts, the unclear direction, the mixed messaging, it all points to something bigger than a single misstep. People can sense when a brand is built with purpose, and they can also sense when it's not. And right now, the biggest challenge isn't convincing people to buy, it's convincing them to believe. Because without that belief, even the biggest name recognition can start to lose its power. And the real question now isn't whether this rebrand will succeed, it's whether Kylie can break the cycle at all.